Hello, so I am back. I will try to continue where I left off. One more time, please bear with me, and how do you say, we have to have this sequence. We cannot break the sequence and say I want 3D printing, I want 3D printing. If you are very curious about 3D printing, kindly look up the internet, and beyond the picture of the dioda, then several assemble yourself what do you call machines, including one of the successful what do you call maker bot. If you want to actually make things like this, it needs a little more understanding. It is not easy, meaning something about why do you deserve a prototype like this, and finally if you are to make some complicated thing like this, you have seen this, it is a beauty. Probably some of the scale models cost a lot of money, and these are the ones that trigger the child in you. So, there are people who collect it, and then I just want to just say no, see there is everything including this, and then there is a rotating thing, and then you see there is a cowling, and the cowling is fixed to the body, and then the sprung mass, and then the steerable variable mass I am sorry is there, and then this, and then if you see carefully how the back wheel can be removed with the disc in place. The caliper is still mounted on the body, the disc will come out of it, and if you see this alignment of the drive chain is not disturbed. See, no, alignment of the drive chain will not be disturbed. So, I will keep it here, you have seen this. So, I can remove this wheel. All this detailing are best done if you have a prototype. While these belong to this class, I will show you another example. It is a little expensive. It says Mercedes Benz SLK. This is actually a collectible item. So, I have been to their what do you call their museum, and then we pay a lot of money. I had paid I think nearly 30 marks for this, and I do not show it to anybody. I am happy there is an occasion that I could show you. Things like this which are not really functional can easily be printed using a rapid prototyping, typically simple 3D printing. Now, when we come to other items, you see here, you see the small beauty, it is a small cup, it is barely the size of my lip. Okay. So, these things are little novelty items, and then to see how well they sell, people do use the things what I am telling you, the various types of what do you call techniques. And in the case of ceramics, these days even 3D printing of ceramic is possible. Okay. Now, let me get back to the display here. Kindly if you can see the monitor display. Yeah. See, this is taken from University of Cambridge, good design what do you call resources which were available, but for a while it is out. So, if you can read it for yourself here, you see here on the top it says, instead of my peculiarly accented voice, maybe you should read, prototyping is a shorthand of innovation. Shorthand, very quickly people write what the other person is talking, then they can what you call transfer it back to full fledged typeset fonts, show it to the meetings and so on. Then what people wanted to say and all that, everything is later on the minutes are how do you say, they are approved and passed around like that. So, the word shorthand also it is a what do you call allegorical representation of innovation. And then it's now, please be with me, one of the important thing which we keep on implying or what you call explicitly saying is that prototype serves mainly market and commercial risks. So, unless you show somebody what it is and you have a focus group which is trained to think a little beyond what they do already, meaning if you again go back to crossing the chasm, these are all early adopters and there is a gap, and then the laggards and the regular main people will come here. So, a focus group what you call can be used as a test group for every new concept that is about to be generated. I think I have already shown you about the mobile camera. Camera is okay, we are all happy, and then we all know about the selfie camera. Suddenly we have the cameras now with a mobile with two cameras at the back. For a long time I used to think it is for stereo. They are too close together to say it is for stereo. So, I think you know what it is, something called it is used for depth of control, which is also a little related to, I mean sorry for saying control of depth, and a little related to stereo, because a slightly there will be a slight shift of the material and things will be there, and also called the bokeh effect and all that. Things which are behind can be made into nice colored spaces, whorls of color. So, if you just show somebody saying, how do you want a camera, it will be the same thing as if somebody had asked a horse carriage user, what is the improvement you would want on your carriage, I think he will ask for more horses, which I think I have gone through earlier, and how to store the tailpipe emissions. We have not fully solved the tailpipe emissions, but then we know now an automobile is something else. So, coming back to my presentation, rather a presentation from the design council, first thing is market and commercial risks can be dramatically reduced. Okay? Market and commercial risks. Okay. Testing market response to novel features and concepts. You have seen this, no? A lot of time people may not understand what the feature is if you just talk about it or list it down as a set of attributes. Right now I use the word saying if you have a camera with a mobile with two lenses at the back, you can have control on the depth of field and also the bokeh effect. So, words do not make sense, but I will show you actually pictures taken with it. Now, suddenly you will say, this is good, maybe a useful feature. Similarly, several other things, saying why do we require face recognition and so on, I leave it. Comparing design alternatives with users and key stakeholders, this seems to be a very, very important and critical thing. A lot of times, because it is easy to add, features are added to the products which are rarely used at all. So, I have a very funny, witty write-up by none other than Jeremy Clarkson saying, see all the gadgetry on my desk, it does not seem to help in any way. So, for him it does not help. Probably if there is a way of product differentiation, saying people who do not want those things are do not need them, people who want them are visible, it is good. So, now right now fortunately for us the age of the app has come. So, you can put any app you like, if you do not want the things they can just secretly disappear, you can do whatever you want with it. Comparing design alternatives with users and key stakeholders. Design alternatives is not just the shape, it is not about the shape or things like this. These things can probably be, somebody can even sketch it and show it, there is no issue about this at all, sketching it. Design alternatives is often trade off between the features. I can add these features at a small additional cost. How do people think of the additional feature? Saying putting a little extra money, can I now move into the next aspiration lifestyle? So, that is where it is. And then related to other thing is the other stakeholders like that. If I add a feature, it is not going to cost any money, but if I delete a feature, we are not saving anything either, so as well give it. Or if you must add certain things, it may be very expensive. Then early feedback on the soft aspects of the design mix, including usability and appearance. See here, I am sure some of you are very familiar with it. The very fact that it is all held together by cellophane tape shows that it is used and it is a little flimsy too. Seen this, no? There is a, I mean there is a problem, probably it fell and it knocked itself off and so on. These are all where the prototyping helps. Now, how well it nestles in the hand. See here, they have given a small projection. How does it feel? Usability and appearance, it looks convenient and unobtrusive. The same feature is also available here, but somehow to me it is not the same, not about the same. But using this, I have a tremendous amount of control on this, including it also has, see, I am shaking the what you call laser into that, it will damage it, but I just want to say, maybe you can see here, there is a beautiful laser shining there in the front. That is typically one of those bokeh effects. Now, it is very convenient, I am not distorting my hand in a very funny way, which happens occasionally with this. Here, very peculiarly, they have angled it a little. So, even if I have to hold it a little like this, it will form in a intuitive way in the same, I think it is easier, okay. It follows the same thing here, though I need not twist it. If I just operate it like this, typically at the height with where the audience is sitting, easily they are able to make this. This is the actually starting point of any of your prototyping, saying first ask the customer, and when you ask the customer, you also make a prototype, and if you present it to the customer, he will be able to now take a decision. So, early feedback on the soft aspects of the design mix, including usability of appearance, we will get. This is where looks like rapid prototyping, and then in that specifically 3D printing seems to give the designers a head start over the others. If you have the file made first time, anytime you want you can change it. Any small things like that, if you have to make this a block model using even clay and all that, it is tough, not easy to make a block model. 3D CAD model, easy now. The same model can be used for printing, and the same model can be used for all other downstream activities. We come to testing of novel technical solutions. So, typically you have an LCD here. So, I think all of us had this problem, you have an LCD screen. Now, should it be lighted or not? So, we have a little problem. Sometimes backlighting helps, sometimes backlighting does not help at all. And the other extreme is if you see the e-book readers. So, you have the traditional normal display which is available on most of the what you call tablet type of devices, 7-inch tablets. But when Kindle came, first when Kindle came, suddenly e-ink became popular. Even when the power fails, like my stain here, the stain will not go away. Same thing with the e-ink. When the power fails or when it is switched off, nothing happens. It is just that you have a white background on that something is printed and given, except when the power goes off. Later on, after it got accepted in the market, they have come to the paper white, saying it is not enough if the background should be black and something comes dark, I mean bright letters, that is strains the eye. Why not in reverse? But no wasting of paper. So, that e-ink concept was a tremendous success, and only the display and e-ink, whether the product is a success, that is a separate thing. People have moved on. Now, I have a Kindle app on this, I use the Kindle app for this thing. Coming back, evaluation of the critical performance and characteristics of a new product. This is where technical risks, suddenly there should not be a surprise. From how far should this be able to control the display, and secondly, what is the minimum power that is required for the circuitry. That is where performance characteristics come. Probably I could have included it in this pen also. So, we have a what you call very smart board there, by which if I write something can happen, and then probably, and then this one has a small what you call I do not know what you call it, a small switch here. So, I can press the switch, something happens, I dare not risk, it may end the session. So, and then it has something. Now, why not have an LED, a laser pointer in this? Such things are available, but not somehow, they have never picked up. You write from one side and then you turn it over, you can point there. Alternatively, you write here and then here itself there is something comes and you can point on the screen. Not very popular, and in fact, I have a display here which shows, one of my students have worked on it, you can see it, I have brought that also along. Very important thing is, finally whether you like it or not, manufacturing is a reality, and while our level of abstraction has improved, manufacturing is not able to catch up with a designer's enthusiasm and what do you call level of thinking ahead and asking for making products should be there. So, there is always this issue about how do you solve the problem. So, that is where rapid prototyping helps. Now, supporting brainstorming and creative exercises enables studying and refining of difficult features, demonstrate the viability of new principles, communicating concepts and alternatives within the team. This seems to be the best. You see here, we also made it in 1988, exactly 30 years back, made something here. This is something which you can hold in the hand, but the displays are little bigger. So, it was possible. These days you can just print it, making a printing like this, it is easier. So, prototypes can take many forms, from very simple mock-ups or visualization demonstrative principle to sophisticated pre-production products and detailed analytical simulations. So, pre-production products are what very easily can be made by rapid prototyping. Analytical simulations are what can be now done by all sorts of mathematical models. So, we can start with a simple sketch, great for testing numerous ideas early on. So, even if you want to go for the other thing, that is that concept of a rapid prototyping, you need to have even cheaper than printing, cheaper than anything, cheapest and quickest way to evaluating many ideas for form, technical, for what I call assembly, usability, and not utilized often. But next time when you go to a designer's desk, you notice he has probably stopped talking like me. When I go to a shop, I do not further waste my time on describing by things. I take my mobile, show them something, an equivalent product taken from the probably online thing, and immediately he says, yes sir, what is shown there costs a lot of money. He has shown a picture of an imported what I call sink trap. Imported sink trap, if you want, it will cost you a lot of money. A good trap probably costs you around $20, which is equivalent to 1000 rupees. However, something which does about the same work, I can give you for a few hundred rupees. So, my business is done. Again, that is what I said, no? When you are talking with people and you do not have the internet to show pictures, easiest for you is to sketch. And next, block model for early testing of usability, ergonomics and form, useful to quickly evaluate a product's physical arrangement. Models can be made out of paper, card, foam, wood or other easy to work cheap material. So, I have one solid presentation, maybe after this I will give you a chance to see it, taken from the Mazda car, saying how the Mazda car full scale mock-up has been made, where uses all these things. Since it is open source, I want you to watch it. Physical model to enable evaluation of visual and form aspects, produced to look as realistic as possible, good for testing product feel and form, need to be treated carefully, may think the product is finished and wanted it now. This is there, we have had it once. We made a tabletop, okay, again coming back, we made a tabletop fax machine. So, it has a interesting form, meaning it is a little more than a A4 size, wider. If A4 is 210, this is probably around 250 mm, thin, very thin, comes down, and then there is a beautiful tapered base like this, okay, looking at it. So, I leave it on the table, and then in case any fax comes, I get a beep, I take my A4 or any available paper in it, it gets printed and comes out. Similarly, if we take any written material, push it on top and it faxed out. Everybody who saw it wanted one. You understand? We did a little bit of magic with all the lights and mirrors and smoke, saying it was wired up inside using parts from another probably a printer and a little bit of trick. Already the image was stored inside, there is a big monstrous computer sitting on the table. What was shown on top is only the mock-up. So, when you put a paper, another pre-printed paper used to be ejected out of it, not part of this mechanism. People believed that we are actually making it. It is like that currency duplicating trick, where you have two rollers, roller above and roller below, and then you keep a what you call some unit, maybe 100 rupee note, you turn the thing, another side it becomes 500 rupee note. I think all of you have seen it, little like this. So, the advantage of it is people, unless you are very careful and tell them, no, people may think that the product is finished and wanted it now. Whenever a magician gives you one of those what you call currency converters, you will want it, saying, I wish I had one, because normally I am not having too much money. I wish I keep money in the pocket, take it out and I get this thing. This is the thing with all these prototypes. Now, 3D CAD model, evaluation of overall form, assembly sequence and production issues can be photorealistic, excellent to gain support and buy-in from senior management, danger of thinking that product is finished. This happens to all of us when we are conned into buying apartments. If you see any of the apartments, all of them seem to be made by 3ds Max. There is a swimming pool and my God, tell me what not is there. And in India somehow, if it has an ambience of a western country, including skin color, including hair color and cars, big cars and leisurely lifestyle, people buy it. Only at the bottom left corner it says artist rendering, and they forget to mention it is from 3ds Max or Maya or anything at all. Things are so real. Little advantage, disadvantage is that model is, if it was extracted from a full project including layout, how much of ground or plot size they have, how much of setbacks they have and how much it is, a lot of it will be very close to what you get. Though you will not get all that what you see, but you will get most of what you see. So, we are not wrong, and you can also select which way the sun is, which way, wherever it is, no, whether you want to be on the roadside, you want to be quiet side and so on. So, this is where this 3D CAD modeling, okay, can be photorealistic. So, photo rendering is now possible in most of the 3D packages. Functional test specific performance aspects, not necessarily representative of production, good for evaluating reliability, durability, performance, failure. Models can evaluate subsystem or system level performance. So, we have here a production prototype, evaluation of performance, function, form, use and producibility made with this processes representative of the final production method. So, the issue being there, it is a fully functional model, and sometimes things like how to package that, how do you put it into a box and how does it do, and then secondly In case you are organizing for mass production, how do the machines handle all these items? Can you make, in the case of printed circuit boards, usually panels come in almost a half meter size. So, can you make more of them? Can you make all of them on one panel or use different process? All this can easily be sorted out on this in a production prototype. And if it can be opened, of course it is a self opening thing, I need not do anything on its own, it is falling apart. So, instead I will show you here. See here, when I open it, I have these things. How does it slide and how big or small are all these small catches, undercuts and so on, and how well do these things nestle here. I have a small wireless dongle. Dongle goes in here, automatically it does, and then I also have a small cell here. Now comes the thing, do you now complicate it by having a charging wire? Does not need it, because once you will put the battery inside, the cell inside, it lasts for a long time, and any time the more of these things you put, like a small USB, I think it is called a micro USB socket, it only leads to more unreliability in this, because very rarely you charge and chance of damaging it are high. And there has not been a compromise, everything is mentioned here. You see, I have a small switch to reset it and also to pair it, and then I have a power switch here to switch it off when I am finished. So, all this plus I have two more switches here. I do not know what is the purpose. One is to blank the display, probably one is to advance it, then there is something here, and then if on the other side there is a smart board, I can even use it like a mouse. I can select various things and so on, unwanted features, but still they are built in. Now coming back to reading this presentation, you will note here, same time mathematical models to support component and assembly optimization, including stress, thermal properties, weight, strength, vibration, etc., can be cheap. It does not sound well, semantically it has a little negative thing, an inexpensive way of identifying issues, but can be costly, meaning somebody has to spend a lot of time in what you call getting things. In a small low cost thing like this, it does not matter, but when people are able to, please show me this, when people are ready to pay money for now the current thing, wearable fitness band. So, you see here I have a beautiful fitness band which has my God, I do not know what all are there. See, there is at the back there are some sensors and there is something, and then I just need to put it, and then it has a very peculiar magnetic thing here, you understand. So, even in the unlikely case it gets knocked off, the next round if I do it just hooks up and then I do not lose it at all. Is it useful or not useful, I do not know, but to me at the time when I bought it, it looked useful. It costs a lot of money. In India it is expensive, but then you see here the way these things are attached to each other, this is all the physical thing. Now the mathematical models talk about how long that the battery lasts, how strong are these things, and what should we, where can we optimize the weight, saying can we remove unwanted material from this, and if you give a simulation run somewhere else, how well the products can be made. So, using the same core, there are products which start from around 1000 rupees and go up to 15,000 rupees, all by the same manufacturer. Okay, and of course, we know Apple and all have even more this thing in which there is a watch and all that, not very popular. It is popular for people who are serious and who enjoy it, but though I have it now, I somehow feel this is unobtrusive and it is small, and I do not want it to be coupled to my phone or to my hearing aid. But then For everything in this, if a mathematical model is made and it is existing in the background, it can always be put to good use later. You need to make it once, and then after that things move on without any problem. Good. At this point, no, they use the word fidelity. Occasionally people use the word granularity, and then I will say amount of detailing, no, can be defined as accurately prototype represents either functionality or performance, appearance, projectability or usability. A model with high fidelity will closely mimic the characteristic of the final production item. There is clearly a trade-off between fidelity and cost. Typically, the greater the fidelity, the higher the cost, obvious. A simple card model of a casting may have very low detailing compared with a full finite element analysis model, but quicker and cheaper to produce. So, we continue to have combinations of both. In real life, designers do not wait even for the rapid prototyping, the part to come. That is where desktop printers have become popular. Just like you have a desktop, what used to be called DTP, no, desktop publishing, and now you have beautifully desktop 3D printing. You put the printer and then you press the button, make anything, and then slowly, it comes out. This is ice cream season for us now. We are just entering into the summer. So, if you want to make a new ice cream scoop, make a model, press a button, and you can use it. But imagine suddenly somebody has given you an ice cream and then you want to have a spoon with it, make your own spoon, do everything, just print, and then you give me ice cream, I make the spoon and I eat, and probably I will give you a small scoop and keep the cup. Now, examples of fidelity are, for example, simple sketch function is low, but cost is also low. You can't produce anything, what is sketched can't be produced at all. A block model function is medium, appearance medium, same thing here, no, price is low, usability medium to high. Visual physical model, again you read it for yourself. Depending on the detail, producibility can be high, but you can't do anything with the 3D CAD model unless you practice and learn how to use these things. Yeah, 3D CAD model we have come medium high. Next page comes to full technical model. Same thing again in the last, no, the prices are high, and a production prototype on every aspect it is good, except price is extremely high, not at all easy. If you want to simulate something which is made in plastic, where you have snaps, and the most dreaded is the living hinge. You understand, no? Something which has a living hinge application, it is tough. Making a production prototype is tough. You still have to probably get a hinge from another part, make a lot of adjustments and include it within the thickness. It works absolutely no problem. And finally, analytical virtual model, depending on the amount of detail, varies. This is where we come to the crux of the problem. So, I will just take a break and continue with the next session.